Hello there, Star Wars fans, and welcome back to the channel. If you've been following the Ahsoka series, you know that Season 1 left us with more questions than answers. Ahsoka and Sabine stranded in a distant galaxy, Grand Admiral Thrawn on the loose, and the mysterious force of nature that is Baylan's skull, seeking something truly powerful. But with the confirmation of Season 2, it's time to unpack everything we know so far with news and rumors, and take a look at how some of the wildest Star Wars lore could be coming back into play. Let's get into it. First things first, Season 2 is officially coming out, but it's not coming anytime soon.
But I want it now!
Ahsoka Season 2 is slated for release sometime in 2026. This will result in a 3-year gap between Season 1 and 2. Yeah, it's a long wait, but it also means we have a lot of time to theorize and get excited. With this show slated to come out after the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, part of it must rely on what happens in that movie. I'm not a fan for the large gaps between these shows on Disney Plus for Star Wars and Marvel. To be honest, the large gaps between seasons don't feel justified. It feels as if any momentum these shows had is lost by the time the new season comes out, and the quality does not reflect the time it took to craft them. Since I'm a fan of parts of Ahsoka Season 1, I'm excited to see what's to come next, and to see what Filoni is working on to pick up from the cliffhangers we were left with at the end of Season 1. But before we continue, please help the channel by liking this video and subscribing to the channel, so you never miss what's going on in your favorite galaxy far, far away. So what's exactly going on behind the scenes? Well, Dave Filoni, the main creative behind Ahsoka, and co-creative behind The Mandalorian, has been hard at work on the scripts for Season 2. In an early December interview with Extra TV, Filoni confirmed that he's still writing the series, and here's the interesting part. He's still the single writer for the whole season. That's right, he's not just overseeing the project, he's actively shaping the narrative from the ground up. With the Mandalorian and Grogu movie having completed production, he's still working away at the complex Season 2. Now we know how much Dave loves to get into the intricacies of Star Wars lore, and he's admitted that bringing together all these storylines, especially after the ending of Season 1, is a challenge.
And then, do we have hope for Ahsoka Season 2?
Oh, you got more than hope. I mean, good grief. I'm so well into that as well. It's, almost, I've been writing it, and I'm still the single writer on it. And so I've been enjoying doing that, but it's a challenge, of course, and working some of these arcs through has been a challenge, and making sure it's all gonna, come out in a way that I think is exciting for fans. I know that they're interested in where some of the things I developed in Season 1 go. So I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, we'll see. Well, that's coming up. It's my next thing, I think, of my many things. So yeah.
If you've been following Filoni's work, you know that animation is his specialty. From the Clone Wars to Rebels, he's delivered some of the most beloved Star Wars content ever. He dabbled in live action on The Mandalorian, but the Ahsoka show was his first true test at overseeing an entire live-action show. So, we can only imagine how Season 2 is going to push the boundaries. Not sure how you all feel about Dave Filoni, but I know it's a mixed bag. To some, he is seen as the new George Lucas and the savior of Star Wars, and others think the total opposite, especially after the last 1 to 2 years of projects since his promotion to Chief Creative Officer in 2023. Personally, I've fallen out of love with Filoni. During the days of the Clone Wars, Rebels, and even the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian, I was in the camp that Filoni is the savior of Star Wars, and the one to carry the torch since George was gone. But after the last few years, and some of his loose changes of canon, I don't put him on that pedestal anymore. I'm still a fan of Filoni, but I do have my hesitations now. But I'm still looking forward to Season 2. Speaking of which, let's talk about where Season 1 ended, and what it means for the story going forward. Season 1 wrapped up with some pretty intense moments. One of the cliffhangers was General Admiral Thrawn's escape from Peridea, setting the stage for future conflicts for the rest of the galaxy. But the focus here isn't Thrawn or Ezra, it's Ahsoka, Sabine, and Baylan, who are now stranded in a distant galaxy. And don't forget that dramatic appearance from Anakin Skywalker's Force Ghost, which seemed to confirm that Ahsoka was exactly where she needed to be. Now, if you're wondering where all of this is heading, Filoni shared some concept art that gives us a huge hint. The art shows Ahsoka and Sabine standing in front of the same statue that Baylan's skull discovered in the season finale. This statue represents the mysterious father, daughter, and son from the Clone Wars, a trio of Force wielders known as the Ones, who embody the balance within the Force, essentially the gods in the Star Wars universe. Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka came across them in the Clone Wars. They hold immense power, and are still very much a mystery to fans. But in that Clone Wars arc, we get confirmation that Anakin was the Chosen One, with the father asking Anakin to take his place and keep the Force balanced in Mortis. We also saw the daughter, the embodiment of the light, save Ahsoka from the dark side corruption the brother infected her with. This event resulted in the daughter dying, but since then the owl, Morai, has followed Ahsoka even in the world between worlds, and on Peridea. Now, why is this significant? First, between Morai and Anakin's ghost being on Peridea, we have to assume that Ahsoka is in the right place. It's a long-standing fan theory that Ahsoka will become the new embodiment of the light, and Anakin's ghost will be the new father. In Season 1, with his control of the world between worlds, this theory gained even more steam. We've also heard a lot of chatter about the world between worlds, making an appearance again in Season 2. If you're not familiar with the world between worlds, it's essentially a realm outside of the regular world that connects time and space and holds immense power in the Force. It's the plane of existence where the cosmic force and living force connect. It was first introduced in Star Wars Rebels and shown in live action in Ahsoka Season 1. The Mortis Gods, Anakin being the Chosen One, and the world between worlds are all topics I'll cover in future videos as we get closer to Ahsoka Season 2. But for now, we can only guess that this is connected to what Baylan is searching for. Speaking of Baylan's skull, let's talk about him. This character, played by the late Ray Stevenson, left an indelible mark on fans with his complex portrayal of an ex-Jedi gone rogue who's searching for something. But what's he searching for? Baylan's journey is my favorite aspect of Season 1, and it looks like Season 2 is going to expand on his story in a big way. And quickly, we just got confirmation that the Game of Thrones actor, Rory McCann, has been casted to play Baylan Skoll. A good friend to Ray Stevenson, Rory is a great choice in my opinion. Ray was so great at being an intimidating presence on screen, even when he wasn't speaking or fighting. Baylan's stature and strength is an aspect of his character that I think Rory can deliver on. His performance as the Hound in Game of Thrones gave me the confidence that he will deliver a great performance in this role, and expand on Ray's fantastic character. According to rumors from Bespin Bulletin, we might be seeing a major expansion of the lore surrounding Baylan and his connection to the Force. Since we can infer that this will heavily involve the gods of Mortis, could Baylan be searching for the legendary and terrifying entity known as Abeloth? Yes, that's right, Abeloth. For those who know, this is terrifying for the galaxy. Simply, she is the most sinister Force entity who has been a staple of Star Wars Expanded Universe, specifically in the Legacy of the Force and the Fate of the Jedi book series. For those unfamiliar, Abeloth was once a servant of the Ones, or also called the Mother of the Ones, the very being Ahsoka and Baylan seem to be connected to now. In the EU, she was corrupted by her own desire for immortality and turned into an ancient malevolent force that wreaked havoc across the galaxy. She goes beyond the concepts of light and dark, and her obsession with power could very well be the kind of threat that Baylan is seeking, or even working to unleash. This could be what is calling to him, luring him in. What does this mean for Ahsoka? Well, Abeloth's return could tie into some very ancient and personal lore for her, considering her own connections with the Force's balance. But it's not just Baylan's story that's going to get complicated. Ahsoka herself has deep ties to the mysterious forces at play here, especially when it comes to her relationship with Anakin Skywalker. The connection between Ahsoka, Anakin, and the Ones, particularly the father who embodies the balance in the Force, could be a central theme in Season 2. Could Ahsoka's journey lead her into a direct conflict with Abeloth, or perhaps the Ones themselves? And what role does Morai, the mystical owl connected to Ahsoka, play in all of this? But a bigger question to me is, when is Luke going to come into play? In the Star Wars Expanded Universe, Luke Skywalker's ambition to stop Abeloth and to find Mortis, the realm of the mysterious ones, is a crucial chapter in his quest to understand the deeper mysteries of the Force, particularly the balance between light and dark. As Luke is drawn into the complexities of stopping Abeloth, he discovers Mortis is a place where the very fabric of the Force is concentrated. Luke realized that his father's refusal to become the new keeper of the balance had in fact set off a disastrous chain of events. With the death of the Ones, the galaxy began to slide into chaos. The number of conflicts since that event proved it to be true. Luke's experience with stopping Abeloth reveals profound truths about the nature of the Force, destiny, and the balance that must be maintained. The journey marked by peril and personal sacrifice challenges Luke to confront his own beliefs and roles in the galaxy, as he realizes that the fate of the Force is intricately tied to his own understanding of balance, both within himself and the universe. Essentially, Luke makes stopping Abeloth a main purpose of the Jedi, and then believes the Jedi and Sith's future roles are to keep the balance in the galaxy just as the Ones did. As if the possibility of that isn't enough, there are also wild rumors about casting. Word is that we could see flashbacks to the Clone Wars era, possibly with a young Ahsoka portrayed by Ariana Greenblatt again. And we're hearing whispers that some familiar faces could return, including Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan and Hayden Christensen as Anakin. This would be the ultimate prequels team-up, what fans like me have been waiting for. We got a hint of it in Season 1 with the Clone Wars flashbacks, but honestly, I want more. Could they show us Clone Wars events we haven't seen yet? Or could we see a live-action version of the Mortis arc from the Clone Wars? To me, as long as it serves the story and they do it right, I'm beyond excited. But it doesn't end there. Most recently, we got another rumor that was a huge surprise to me. Could we even get Natalie Portman back as Padmé for some emotional flashbacks? Padmé potentially coming back was not on my bingo card for the series, and frankly, any future projects. According to Kristen Harloff, Natalie Portman is close to signing a deal to return as Padmé for the second season of Ahsoka. There's already been some debate on this between scoopers, so we can't say for certain, but it's being reported that Dave Filoni wants her to return, and that Natalie Portman has said she's open to returning when asked in the past. With this rumor and the others, I can't help but think we're getting Clone Wars and prequels flashbacks of some sort. If they can get this right, I'll be more accepting of such a big gap between Season 1 and 2. With all these exciting updates, it's safe to say that Ahsoka Season 2 is going to be massive. Whether we're diving into the mysteries of the Force, exploring the legacy of the Ones, or facing off against dark entities like Abeloth, there's no telling how deep this story will go. One thing's for sure though, the galaxy far, far away is about to get a lot more complex, and Ahsoka's journey will play a pivotal role in its future. Well, that's all for today from your favorite galaxy far, far away. What are you most excited about for Season 2? Do you think Abeloth will make her debut? How do you feel about the casting for Baylan? What do you think of Clone Wars flashbacks? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for the latest Star Wars news and updates. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you always.